What's up, my friend?
Hey, man. How you doing?
All right, good to see you.
What's up? Hey, man.
Hi.
You don't look like Amy.
Cindy.
Hey,
Nice
come
to
on
meet
in.
you. Thank
He's
you.
good looking, but not in that same way. I went up Sunday or Monday. How you guys doing? A lot of you have heard me talk about Marc-Alan Barnette. I mentioned him in some of the songs because he and I have written together. A lot of you remember, particularly my friends from high school, remember the My Second Mom song. And I would have never finished it without Marc-Alan. There's just no question. And I got very lucky when I first got down to Nashville on my first day here. I met a guy named Doak Turner, thank you. And Doak took me out because he heard I was living in West Virginia and got all excited.
That's right.
So Marc-Alan told me a little about what he did, and it was a bar and we were drinking and it was loud. So I was like, how about we meet for lunch and I'll pick your brain a little bit. So he does a little bit of everything. And I'm going to kind of let him tell you a little bit, and maybe I'll jump in and ask some questions. But he's a writer. He's probably written over 3,000 songs. But he also takes a tour. He's a Nashville veteran. He's at Cut. You can't go anywhere without people knowing who he is. And he's helped me a ton. So I want to introduce everybody to all the people I've met here. But this is a shameless plug, because if you come down and you want to write, I have introduced him to a number of people over the years. And you'll enjoy it. So tell us what you do, man, how you got here. And
Well, thank you, Dave. That was a nice introduction. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and I had a 12-year rock career back in the 80s. And music started changing. It went to rock music went from the very pop, up-tempo kind of the Journey, Loverboy kind of era to a very dark kind of thing when it got into Seattle grunge, and that was just not my scene. At the same time, Nashville was opening up, and it was doing a lot of great things. So in '88, I moved here. I got a cut my first night in town.
doesn't happen, by the way.
It doesn't happen, no. I had met a guy in Birmingham who lived up here for 10 years before. His name was Ron Muir, and he basically sat me down and showed me the things that I pass on to people like you, the principles of songwriting for the Nashville market. And then I moved here, got a cut. I had a lot of things happen for me, and I've been very fortunate to stay in this game for a long time, and going on 32 years here. In the 2000s, we started seeing changes once again with the internet coming through, and changes in the music business, changes in what was going to happen money-wise. And I was asked by people from organizations like NSAI, Nashville Songwriters Association International, to mentor and teach workshops around the country, and I did that for a while. And then people started coming here, which they're always coming here, and it said it would be beneficial, could sit down with somebody who's kind of been here, knows the ropes, knows where all the things that you can fall into, and that's what I did. And with yourself, you've been a shining example of what you should do. You didn't up and move to Nashville. Thank God for you, boy. Yeah, that's right.
That was good advice, by the way.
Yeah, well, people do. They will come up here, and I've seen families be destroyed because people think, wait till they get a load of me. And when you get here, it's very similar to being a walk-on baseball player or basketball player. You're just kind of walking on. You don't realize everybody's 3 times your size and half your age. And so people come here and go through that same thing, and I just try to direct them and give them some guidance on everything, like a sports coach, and take them to the next level. That's what you've done.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, I'm not being too self-deprecatory. Is that self-deprecating? See what he's done?
Deprecatory is a great word.
Improve my vocabulary too. Eh?
That's right.
But at home, I am a guy that maybe stands out as a songwriter. But here, I'm just one of a lot of people. One of the nicest criticism I ever got was from a lady down here who said, "You write really good songs." She said, "The problem is everybody writes really good songs, and you got to write great songs.
Yeah.
So that's what everybody's, that's the goal, right? Everybody
that's
wants
the
that
goal.
great song.
Yeah.
And Marc-Alan's written a few, and some of you guys, I plug him at some of my shows when I mention that a song that we wrote together. I always mention like Too Much Blood in My Alcohol Level,
Right.
or Playing for Tables and Chairs.
Right.
And by the way, staff always giggles whenever I mention that
that's
one.
for them too. That's right. Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. So, but he'll take you around. It's not just the writing that he helped me with, understanding how things work, the importance of networking. Right, a lot of times when you're new, like you're worried, what if somebody steals my idea? And Mab sort of disabused me of that idea. Like, listen, if you're good, people are going to want to work with you.
Right.
And I've taken that tack that the more people I meet and appreciate, and that's helped me a lot. And like we were just playing with Ray, you met Ray, and Ray started talking about Marc-Alan. Well, did you guys do the grand reopening of? He was trying to remember. He said we did a great show here, and Lizard was playing.
Yeah, we did the reopening. That's true. Bobby Zeidelauer has had an interesting journey since there have been 3 of them, and it seems like every time one of them's going, they'll shut down, they'll pop up somewhere else, But we did that, and one of the things about being in this town for a long time, you see people, you see places come and go all the time. So you just want to be still standing after all the rubble is going. The great songs thing. In order to write the great songs, you have to write a lot of not so great songs.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people who do the teaching things, a lot of things, but I don't know how many of them would have found your opposite number of a school teacher doing pretty much the exact same thing that you're doing. So with Eric Haynes, relate. You guys even teach some of the same things together. That's my deal. Finding people on the inside who can kind of help other people from the outside, vice versa.
That's right.
Because you brought us up to have some great times up at where you are. And that's my thing about not moving to Nashville. You can do a lot of things out in your own area and build your own kind of your own niche, and that's what you've done very admirably.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I forgot that because it was some burger place. I don't even think it's around. That Alan Chevelle.
Right.
And I met Eric, and it turned out not only did Eric and I both teach. We both are songwriters. We both teach social studies. We both work crappy construction jobs. We both worked some of those jobs in South Florida.
Right.
And we both lived and worked in Maryland. So
yeah,
it was a cool find.
I am the songwriting matchmaker.
That's right.
But that is the cool thing. When you're around a long time, you meet people all the time, and with somebody, and I go on personalities. It's always personality. What personality would gel with somebody else? Because that's what's going to build the relationship. The relationship hopefully will build into the songs. And you guys both seemed, as I'm listening to him talk and listening to you talk at different times, I'm thinking these 2 guys need to meet because you got a whole lot in common. That's the key behind all this.
He's a good man, good writer, and I definitely like working with him. Yeah. The other thing Marc-Alan will do, you don't have to be a songwriter. I've introduced him to some guys that they're interested in the business, or even some of them were talking about.
You sent some of your students down here too.
Yeah, we did.
Right. Yeah.
So for a number of years we did. It was a senior project, and I would bring 2 or 3 kids down and set them up with a workshop with Marc-Alan, and but he doesn't just do a workshop with them. He spent the whole day. And then he'd say, "Come on out," and to a place he was playing, see what what Nashville is as a working town of writers. And so you go to these sort of offbeat places, and he took them out. And matter of fact, Janet and Charles pulled one of them up on stage, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And so and he'll take if you don't know where to go in Nashville. Quite honestly, you could book this guy as a private tour guide.
I have done that.
He's done that. Yeah. He did that for a little while.
I did that for a while, yeah. And I have had, I had interesting things like I had an Air Force colonel who was booking a surprise birthday party for his girlfriend. And he was inviting 10 of her best friends. She didn't know they were coming. And she showed up in town, and suddenly there's all these people there. I had written a song for the birthday song. We went out in a limousine. The rain came down, so we ended up having to come over here. So I played in the living room, and we had a nice little get together. But yeah, I've done that too. So
that's kind
whatever
of
it takes,
man. Yeah. Anything and everything about the music business. And even he's told me sometimes, don't try that. Well, if you want, go ahead if you have to scratch that itch, and then I'll do it, and I'll come back, and he'll be like, yeah, well, I was telling you about knocking on doors. Yeah. He's like, well, if you can, if you want. Yeah. So I just got rejected by a whole shit ton of people. And he was like, well, you can't do that anymore.
Well, in every business, there's an etiquette. There are things to do. There are things not to do. There are things that, glass walls that you hit. I deal with it a lot when you have songwriters like to write those nice 8.5 minute, real depressing ballad songs. And that's fine till you get in with 30 other writers doing 3 very depressing 8-minute ballad songs, and suddenly you realize everybody's got the same stuff going on. So I try to show that, and then if you're going to keep banging at it, well, you keep banging at it. You'll learn sooner or later.
Well, I'll tell you how lucky I was then, because when I met you, I ended up playing at the Bluebird. And
that doesn't happen either.
Yeah, I guess I got lucky there too. But he gave me one piece of advice. He said, don't play a ballad. And we went there, and like the 10 people before us all played ballads. Right. We did not. After the show, we're hanging outside, and as people passed us by, groups of them, hey, you guys were great. Yeah. And even a couple of them said, thanks for not playing a ballad.
Yeah, exactly.
We played an upbeat song, so.
We all have them in. Songwriters write the emotional thing, and it's great. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of it is therapy. And you don't necessarily have to share your therapy with everybody else, and some things you write for yourself, some you write for audiences. And when you are in a town full of writers, a lot of people are going to write the same stuff. So trying to be as different within the framework of it is very important.
Yeah. So you're going to Frank Brown?
I am. I'm leaving on Tuesday, Frank Brown International Songwriters Festival. And it'll be my 25th year. It's the pilgrimage. It's Mecca for the songwriters. The Bluebird is one Mecca. Frank Brown is another Mecca. And you see, you get to rub elbows with the hit writers, and you get to hear songs and see artists that you're going to see in the next year or so. I remember seeing these 2 guys from Belmont College playing down there about 6-7 years ago, and that was Florida Georgia Line. And I've seen a lot of artists that have come out. It's just the first couple of times they're playing, and the people that they're working with are taking them, kind of showing them off and building their reputation.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
Nice, man. You got your crew going with it?
I've got several crew members meeting me. I've got some coming from South Florida, and then I've got some others that will be coming. Angie Jolene Tromber, she'll be coming down. We're actually about to do a couple of videos on her, and so she'll be coming down. We're going to do a little, kind of some of this, a little pre-production work.
I was hoping to see her. I usually run into her when I'm here. I try to find where you guys are.
So
you're not playing out this week?
I'm not playing out this week. I actually got myself in trouble. Tomorrow I was supposed to play a Halloween show. This is the danger of coming up to me after I finish a show and say, hey, can you play? No. I shouldn't take anything because I had promised to do something with Angie. It's turned out none of us can do it. That was Paul Jefferson, Angie, and me, and I already had a commitment, and she had a commitment, and so we all kind of got blindsided. So I had to have that covered. But no, I'm not playing this week. This week was producing one of my clients out of Wisconsin. He was in the studio first 2 days of this week, and I've just been kind of doing a lot of different things with him.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I got one more question I'm going to ask you. We try, okay. Mark and I we don't agree on everything. I'm going to bring us up a political issue. If you had a runoff for mayor tomorrow and you had to choose, would you pick Superman or Iron Man for mayor of Nashville?
For mayor of Nashville, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Iron Man now.
Now, is this because you've done research on the candidates? Or
no,
because it's just a gut feeling.
That's a gut feeling.
And Iron Man might be a little smarter than Superman.
Yeah. Tony Stark is a pretty smart guy, So I guess it would be Iron Man.
There it is, folks. Next election, Iron Man.
There you go.
For mayor of Nashville. There you go, man.
Well, he went back to the farmhouse and he got up sweet Laverne. And he said, honey bunch, I got a hunch that our tractor stole our barn. And she said,
what? We're just joshing the whole darn barn? Well, I'll be darned.
Well, the man wakes me up with a warning. Gonna be 90 by late morning. Well, I'm out of coffee and I'm out of bread. Only cold water from my shower head. But the beer's on ice for tonight, and everybody's ready to party. Party tonight, baby. Well, I just finished another drink, and you finished an episode of, hey, what it's like for an artist in Nashville. I hope you enjoyed it. I just want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate all your support. I appreciate you continuing to check into my channel. Check me out on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, all those places. And please share with your friends. And if you want to, send me a message.